You know, every old book has a secret. And it's not the story that's printed on its pages. It's the story of its own survival. This long, incredible journey through time, from a dusty, forgotten shelf right to the screen that you're looking at now. So today, we're going to follow the trail of one of these books and uncover the massive secret mission that brought it here. This quote, it really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? We're not just talking about old paper and ink here. We're talking about actual time capsules. Every single one is a direct line to a totally different era, a different way of thinking, a whole different world, really. And it's just sitting there waiting for us to open it. So before we trace the journey of our one specific book, we really need to understand what makes these gateways to the past so special. What is it that actually unlocks them for all of us? Well, the key is this idea right here, the public domain. Basically, when a book enters the public domain, it means its copyright is up. It doesn't belong to one person or one publisher anymore. It belongs to all of us, to you, to me. It's part of our shared culture. Now, it is important to remember, though, the rules for this can get a little tricky depending on where you are in the world. For generations, this amazing inheritance of knowledge was, for all practical purposes, locked away. Just think about it for a second. A brilliant, super rare book might only exist in a few libraries on the entire planet. So to read it, you'd have to physically travel there, hope it wasn't checked out or too fragile to handle. It was a gateway, sure, but one that very, very few people could ever actually walk through. And that brings us to our protagonist. We're going to follow the incredible, multi-generational story of just one of these books. Its long journey is honestly a testament to preservation, to incredible technology, and let's be real, a little bit of luck. And here it is, the 4 key stages of its life. First, it all starts with the publisher when it's brand new. Then, step 2, it spends decades, maybe even a century, being carefully preserved on a library shelf. Then comes the game changer, the digital scanner. This is where its physical life ends and a whole new, kind of immortal chapter begins. And finally, step 4, it arrives on your screen. Its story, its knowledge, now accessible to anyone, anywhere in the world. You know, the really cool part is that the digital version isn't some sterile, perfect copy. Not at all. If you look closely at these scans, you can often see its history. A faint pencil mark in the margin, maybe a coffee stain from a reader 100 years ago. Each one of those little imperfections is like a ghost, a reminder of the book's physical journey and all the hands it passed through to get to you. Now, this transformation from a single, fragile object to a global digital resource, it didn't just happen by accident. Oh no. It was the result of this ambitious, almost audacious plan, a full-on digital rescue mission for the world's collective knowledge. So Google partnered up with major libraries around the world in this colossal undertaking. The goal? To carefully scan millions of these public domain books one by one and make them discoverable to the entire planet. This wasn't just about preserving them, it was about democratizing them. It was a huge effort to make sure our shared history wouldn't be lost to time, or damage, or just being forgotten on a shelf. And the impact is just staggering when you see it laid out like this. A book goes from being stuck in one place, totally vulnerable to fire or a flood, to being everywhere at once, preserved forever. It goes from being impossible to search to being fully indexed down to every single word. But the biggest leap by far is access. It shifts from the handful of people who could travel to that one library to absolutely everyone. It's a revolution in how we connect with our own past. So, now that these treasures are literally at our fingertips, the story shifts again. The responsibility of preservation isn't just on the libraries anymore, it's on us too. In a way, we become the new guardians. I love this quote because it totally reframes the idea of rules. They aren't just restrictions, they're guidelines for how we, as a community, can be responsible custodians for this incredible shared resource that was so expensive and so difficult to create in the first place. Okay, so the first guideline is all about intent. It's about how you use it. This massive digital library was built for personal discovery, for your own research paper, for tracing your family history, or just because you're curious about something. What it does not mean is downloading thousands of books to repackage and sell them. The whole point is to keep this knowledge free, not to lock it up again behind a new paywall. The second guideline is about having respect for the system itself. Look, running a project of this scale is incredibly expensive. Sending automated bots or scripts to just scrape the whole site can overload the system, and that could jeopardize its availability for everybody else. So this rule really just exists to protect the project and make sure it can keep running for years and years. All right, and that little watermark you see on the pages, that is not just a logo. Think of it more like a breadcrumb trail. It's a little signpost that tells other people, hey, this came from that amazing digital library, and it helps them find their own way back to the source to discover even more. If you remove it, you're kind of breaking that chain of discovery for the next person. And finally, this is a crucial one: legality. Just because a book is in the public domain in, say, the United States, that doesn't automatically mean it's fair game everywhere else. Copyright laws are really complex and they vary wildly from country to country. So at the end of the day, the responsibility is on you to make sure that what you're doing with a material is legal wherever you are. So the journey is complete. The book has made it from a dusty corner of a library, through a scanner, and across the entire globe, right to your screen. The gateways to the past are officially wide open. The only real question left is, what will you discover?